And this brings us into building business cases for new SAP programs. The 6 components of a business case that we'll run through quickly, I'm sure are known to most of you, but we identify a few opportunities to accelerate the buy-in. So firstly, the idea generation and initial assessment. We need to understand which innovative solutions and what are the most viable options for enhancing operational efficiency within the business. In addition to brainstorming and having the ideas and generating the options, we then look at the stakeholder engagement and understand that the stakeholders within the enterprise all have their own strategic goals. They all have their own KPIs. They all have their own operational objectives and vision for their teams. And so it's critical to align with these stakeholders that you are working with in order to ensure that the business case that you develop has their buy-in. Often they have got funds that they're available to align with yours. And often, if you have an alignment with them, you are able to receive better business outcomes. Thirdly, looking at a roadmap and looking at deliverables, it's critical to understand that a project is not just implementing a new technology, but it's implementing a bunch of solutions which results in deliverables. And having a baseline to measure what your current state is to your target state allows you to see the benefits of the business case after the program. So one then leads into calculating the ROI. And the return on investment is generally around your tangible benefits, demonstrating the potential for your SAP program to generate significant rewards and returns. However, one needs to understand that there's risk, and the risk analysis and identification and management of that risk is critical. And it depends, as we'll discuss in risk assurance and quality assurance in a couple of minutes' time. The risk assessment can be pivotal to helping you with the program being a success. And finally, securing the investment, presenting to the stakeholders, aligning with the strategic fit of the enterprise's goals, as well as the stakeholders' individual goals and individual KPIs will help you with a successful business case and the adoption of the business case. So there are a couple of components that we get. People ask us, should we be doing a business-led or a technology-led transformation? And this is a key decision. And what we have found is that whilst it is tempting to lead with a technology-led transformation within an enterprise, we find that a business-led transformation often leads with better results, where technology is seen as an enabler to the solution. And that leads us back to Stephen Covey's point when we began, is that technology should be seen as an enabler and as a servant, not necessarily a master. And it's again in the screen that you see here, is that technology plays the first violin. It leads the harmony, but it doesn't overshadow the performance. And the reason why that's important lens to have is not only understanding the stakeholder buy-in, but it's also understanding what the objectives of the enterprise are. So if you have a look at the Forbes stakeholder power interest grid on the left-hand side, I'm sure that we've all seen these in the past. And we understand that, yes, we need to have a communication plan. Yes, we've got stakeholders that we need to understand their needs and concerns, but often this is only lip service to a function which is necessary to be performed before a program takes shape. And what we have found instead is that if we define the project's objectives and scope, and we clearly define those in line with the stakeholders and the business and the strategy, we have a better outcome. So let's quickly run through. If we're looking at business process, which is a business-led transformation, business process optimization, where can we re-engineer? Where can we eliminate inefficiencies? Where can we reduce costs, improve productivity? With regards to data and governance, it doesn't need to be technology-led. Even though, yes, we improve our security, we improve our data integrity and our analysis, but we also need to support decision making and planning, which leads into a business function. And again, when it comes to technology, through to the modernization of a platform, it's not just the technology modernization, but it's creating strategic roadmaps so that you can leverage the platform that you're building now in 5 years from now. What does your integration strategy look like in 5 years from now? Have you been following a blueprint which ensures you success? And then we come into the digital transformation and the innovation piece. And everybody likes to talk about this, but very few have got an actual strategic view of implementing them. And so we are going to discuss in a couple of minutes on how to implement innovation opportunities such as AI, the Internet of Things, using analytics to drive innovation. And then it leads us back into change management and user adoption. And the change doesn't get adopted unless the change management practice is in place. And if the change isn't adopted by the enterprise, then often the program is seen as a failure. Often it takes multiple months or even years, and often there's bad noise that comes out after the program. So it's important to have that change management and user adoption forefront of mind when leading into the business case. And finally, the strategic alignment and realizing the value with a before state and an after. So this leads us into ROI. And ROI, again, is often seen as just a simple total investment, which is seen as the initial investment in operational costs divided by the net benefits. And these are the total benefits received less the total investment and shown as a percentage. And it's important to show it as a percentage because you compare it to CapEx or capital investments in other areas. So it's important to compare it, for example, to your opportunity cost, the cost of maybe implementing and using that cash for something else. You could have use the money to expand in a new geography or purchase some new hardware, which is going to help the manufacturing line. But as we see with this blue star on the right-hand side, there's a couple of accelerators here and things for you to take note that often people forget about when driving a business case. One is the return on innovation. ROI, yes, return on investment, but return on innovation. You need to also look at the ongoing enhancements and efficiencies that you can have. In addition to that, people say, well, you cannot use intangible benefits inside a business case, but we beg to differ. Intangible benefits can be realized. And so if you create a before state and an after state, and you compare the two states, you're able to see an incremental change. The delta is either positive or negative. An example of an intangible benefit could be employee satisfaction or employee sentiment, or even an organizational model which allows you to communicate differently or more effectively or align your staff with KPIs within the business. And finally, the time frame. Often SAP implementations are large-scale programs that yield results over multiple years. So it's important to understand the ROI over a larger period of time.